two of them are a couple living with each other next door to Hall and Oates. But they keep getting themselves into it, so it doesn't. I don't think it actually says that they're a couple, but they keep getting into it's like the ambiguously gay duo fucking
SNL
stuff, yeah. And like people do, there's a whole subsection as well of Danzig memes. And like some of them are fucking. There's a whole thing about comparing them to Sigourney Weaver. There's one with Henry Rollins, which just fucking makes me fucking sick with laughing. Where it's the E.T. on the bike pitch, where Henry Rollins is Elliot and Danzig is E.T.
all wrapped up in the
They're just some weird.
And people are very inventive.
But these are all done by like Danzig fans. There's an article up on the Void Report, where it kind of covers Glenn Danzig online, and it gets into the whole meme things, and they talk to people that are making the memes, and they're like, yeah, we're all actually big Danzig fans. These aren't meant to be disparaging Danzig, it's just because of the image.
Most people do it affectionately.
Yeah, it is, it's all affectionate. It's just because it's the thing that has gone around. And this is the thing as well, because Danzig as well, right, he has his own like the whole thing with him, when he started off the Misfits, he also started off his own record labels, because they went around to record labels trying to sell the albums, and they were like, no, this is garbage, you are not a musician, you will never amount to anything, just stop now. And he said his attitude was, well, fuck you, so he set up his own record label
myself,
and they released their own stuff. But like, he's always had, and I love that attitude with kind of musicians and artists, where they're like, no, we're going to do this fucking stuff ourselves.
It's the only way to do it, and they're always the ones that end up making money then, because they control the rights themselves.
But he ended up like falling into directing his own music videos as well, and then he ended up down the line because he had problems with Rick Rubin. I think this is the thing where people are always saying, oh, the first 4 albums are really good only because of Rick Rubin's involvement. Apparently by album 2, relationships are strained, so apparently Danzig produced the third one, How the Gods Kill, and 4 by himself. So a lot of people go, oh, the fucking production values fell after that. It's like, it was still done by Danzig, so I don't, it's what people just want to believe what they want to believe, I suppose. But where was I going? Oh yeah, just what he has his own comic label as well, Verotica comics, which I haven't say I've read, but I remember when they came out years ago, people talking about it, because it was a big thing at the time, where it's like, these are like very adult, kind of like very, very
I can't imagine him doing kiddie comics.
Like, and but then he's like, a while ago, I think it was last year, he managed to turn it into a movie, Verotica.
It is not good.
It's not good. It's like room levels of bad. Well, actually beyond room levels of bad. But like at the premiere for it, like people were fucking pissing themselves laughing. And in fairness to him, he showed up to the premiere really badly sick, and he took it. Yeah. And he kind of like he rolled with it, and I think he kind of went, instead of kind of, oh, you fucking, kind of, you
don't understand my genius.
He really went with it, and like, he's doing another movie coming out very soon. I think it's shot and all. It's about cowboy vampires, and it could be good.
Might be good. I don't know. Judging on the last one, like, we sat and we really gave it a good try watching it, but towards the end, I was like, I don't know if I can actually sit through all of this. It was quite bad.
But still, at least he's trying. He's doing stuff,
I suppose.
But as well, what he'd be fucking kind of known for as well, kind of like online, was the famous Danzig bricks. So Danzig apparently was living in this house in LA at the time, and it seemed a bit run down. It looked like a fucking haunted house, really.
You wouldn't expect anything else, though, would you? For Danzig is not going to live in, like... No. Yeah.
But it went online anyway about some guy that lived close to him. He was like messaging over and back with a friend saying, oh yeah, I live near Ken Danzig. And he was saying that neighbours were getting really pissed off because for some reason Danzig had like a big massive pile of bricks in his front garden.
Just stacked up.
And he refused to get rid of them. And all the neighbours started saying, look, you're fucking bringing the property value down by having it. How you could bring property value down by...
Just bringing down the tone of the neighbourhood because you had the stack of bricks.
So there was this whole thing then that apparently one day Danzig lost his fucking mind and he got a skip and he started getting rid of the bricks, and every brick he was thrown into the skip, he was like, I'm getting rid of another motherfucking brick. Another big brick for you motherfuckers. And with people, and this apparently went on for like 20 minutes.
Just shouting and throwing bricks into the skip.
And then there was the famous kind of like, a picture of him out shopping where he had kitty litter, and people are like, oh my god. And it's like, what the fuck is he?
If he has cats, what's he supposed to do? Not have them shit in kitty litter, like, Jesus.
But I suppose it is this thing where people are kind of like, have this image of him being like, a demon kind of are really dark in their minds.
But
so
I mean, I think that's just hilarious because you can kind of relate to it more. Because I mean, if somebody was fucking getting on to me the whole time about my motherfucking pile of bricks in the front yard, I eventually would break as well, and I would be out going, "Oh, fucking, I'll show you my fucking. Okay, look, I'm cleaning up my bricks, you fucking."
Yeah, well, yeah.
So
that's the thing. He doesn't
totally
simply walk over, and there is a whole thing. He has an image of getting into fights with people, and there is a video that was said that seems to be nearly set up by the band in question. I can't think there because they're like a worthless fucking kind of like, you know, punk band, nobodies, that Danzig actually brought out on tour with him. Apparently in the video all that it shows is Danzig pushing this fucking guy that's like about 2 foot taller than him. Then your man fucking sucker punches Danzig and knocks him to the ground. But if you look at the video properly, they have like the name of the band down in the corner. It was like a promotional piece, and people that knew that were there said this was going on for days. They were trying to wind Danzig up the whole time, trying to catch it on camera so they could try and make a name for themselves. Classic. So that's why I wouldn't even mention their names, because basically it's a scummy fucking thing to do. Yeah. But like Danzig took it, but like a lot of people are like, oh, Danzig kind of like losing his head, and it's like these guys are fucking you know,
it's the whole thing. If somebody keeps prodding you in the chest for long enough, eventually you're going to punch back, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and as well, kind of like with somebody going on for days, and as well people that you're bringing out and trying to help out.
Yeah,
and
you're
stuff.
trying to give them a leg up.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
How dare they?
Yeah, the thing. Oh yeah, I forgot to say he had another set of albums out called Black Aria. I think he's might be working on the second one as well, where it's basically classical music. When the first one came out, it went straight to #1 the classical music charts. It's like critically acclaimed. Like he is like, because people have this image of him like topless singing like Elvis and shit, but like the guy is like a musician. Like he records, like he has recorded a lot of the tracks on things. He is like an all-around musician. Very talented man.
This has kind of turned into the Danzig fan show.
Well, it has, because at first we were going to do this and I had in my head that it'd be like, oh, Glenn Danzig, we can laugh about Danzig and stuff. And we've been listening to a lot of the stuff over the last couple of weeks, and I've been reading up a lot more on him. And the more I read up on him, and the more
you like him.
The more I like him. Where it's like, well, it started actually with Verotica came out. It was like, oh yeah, we can, like, you know,
we'll watch this.
But then you kind of go, no, that's like a cheap kind of like, you know, fucking kind of like because it's easy kind of like, you know, mock someone that you don't really fully know or understand, like. And the more I'm after reading up on him,
the more I like
him, yeah. And the music as well is really, really good. And as well, for like what I was saying, a lot of people go, oh, the albums got shit after the fourth one. Fifth one isn't particularly great, but it's still a good album. It's just different, very different from the rest of the albums. And then it's like they come back, and like, I mean, there's a new album that came out that we listened to, called Danzig Sings Elvis, which has been like another one of the things where people are like, oh my god, this is awful. He can't sing. He can fucking sing. I'm not an Elvis fan. I've listened to the album a few times. The album is alright. There's 1 or 2 songs on it where you kind of go, oh god. But that's not so much because of him, it's just because the song. Like, there is one song where I think it does sound like Ron Burgundy singing. But
but that's entertaining.
There's one there's the whole history as well of fake news kind of things around Danzig as well. Some of them are actually quite funny. There was someone did a Comedy Central's roast of Glenn Danzig, which a lot of people thought was actually true, the way that it was written up. But one of the best things that I fucking saw they were saying about Henry Rollins came on and went, "This isn't a roast, Glenn. This is an intervention. You've been abusing fishnet stockings for over 30 years and you still don't know that they aren't supposed to go in your arms." But so they have all these kind of things there, and it's I want to say Dave Grohl goes on dressed up as Satan. He goes, "I fucking hate you." Who came dressed on stage as Satan himself said, "Stop writing songs about me. I'm not your ex-girlfriend." But actually, just before we go, I was only saying it as well, kind of like a while ago, the people going on about, like, say, heavy metal music and all. There's one song on fucking How the Gods Kill called Sistanus, or I think it was Sistanus. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Anus.
But it's like a Roy Orbison, a really, really dark Roy Orbison song. It's a love song. It's fucking amazing. I've been listening, I'm like, my god, this is...
I know, you keep dragging me into the room anytime it's on. You're like, listen to this is fantastic. It is fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's kind of like a bit of a brief history of Danzig. So for anyone that would recommend, kind of like, obviously the first Danzig album, listen, Misfits I don't know, or mix, but it's not I suppose if you're a big Danzig and you wanted to hear where it came from, but it doesn't really indicate kind of like too much. But my recommendations on the album be the first one, well, the first four obviously, and then the last one and the covers album, Skeletons, as well. Well, most of them are good, but like the first three albums are fucking mind blowing. So yeah,
Danzig,
yeah, some band shit.
Denied a bank loan.
So for this bit, we're going to be talking about band music, and obviously we're not going to get into a big like fucking historical thing about band music, as in BANNED, not BAND music, because we need like a whole series about it, and as well, let's face it, we're too lazy
down the road.
Yeah, we might do it down the road, yeah, but we're too lazy to kind of get it. Yeah, so this is an introduction to band music.
Yes.
And if we think music should be banned, yeah.
Let's ban it.
Yeah, let's ban all music.
Yes.
But I suppose, yeah, it's kind of like, it's where it came from is because this week's episode, obviously we're after covering Danzig already, and we're going to be talking about the Danzig album at the end, and Mother is famously about Tipper Gore and all those assholes bringing in legislation, or trying to bring in legislation at the time, which they successfully brought in, trying to ban music and trying to kind of restrict certain bands. Yeah, that's how it ended up with the parental advisory thing. But yeah, so I suppose that's for me the big thing from my personal experience with music being banned would have been like really in the 80s and the 90s with metal and rap music, because I've always loved rap music as well. A little known fact there, in case it comes up in a pub quiz at some stage.
Does Wayne like rap music?
Yeah, they'd be like, yes, I believe he does. But yeah, so kind of like, I mean, in the 80s you had stuff like Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Relax was, I think it was banned for a while. Yeah, I definitely know Duran Duran, Girls on Film, the video for that was banned. So there was loads of stuff like that was kind of risque, and Queen's I Want to Break Free.
Yeah, well at the time they were kind of risque, and then you like, as you go through it, the more we kind of evolve, it's like, oh, and then you have like Nicki Minaj, where she's just like, I want to wear as little as possible on a beach, just having sex with a guy.
Well, you see, I think a lot of the stuff as well with the 80s particularly, why some of the music was bad, because you look at Relaxed and Freddie Mercury dressing up as a woman, that was why it was more to do with sexuality or kind of gay culture that they were banned, whatever they were afraid of.
I suppose it was also because it was so new, because before that you would have had the music, of course, but like music videos were still relatively totally in their infancy, especially like MTV as a kind of a phenomenon. Just, there's a channel that just plays music videos, and you're like, what's this?
Yeah, well, like, I mean, you go back like to the 40s, and there were songs banned. Like, I have a list of banned songs up, which I'm not going to go trolling through them all, but there was one that I saw that kind of made me really Digging My Potatoes by Lonnie Donegan. In 1954.
What was the euphemism there, I wonder?
Fucking Christ only knows.
What terminology, digging my potatoes, what was that all about, I wonder?
But see, it was based about washboard Sam, so it would have been, I suppose, kind of a blues, kind of like that. Maybe they've been the lyrics have been, they've been digging my potatoes, tramping on my vine, I have a special plan resting on my mind, I don't eat no cabbage sprouts. No, I think it is just about potatoes.
I don't know, you see, just reading down through it.
No, it's about a woman. Yeah.
You know, she's been digging my potatoes and tramping on my vine. That sounds a little bit sexually innuendo-y.
So it's the meat and veg.
Sounds a bit like that,
getting trampled on. But basically, there's been stuff was going back from to the 40s when they started banning music for public decency things, and I think a lot of it was blues. And sure thing, like Elvis Presley was seen as being dangerous at the time.
Yeah, the swiveling,
wasn't he? And like Bob Dylan, even to a certain line, Johnny Cash as well.
But see, a lot of music, I suppose, would have had sort of a rise up kind of overtones and stuff like that. There would have been, sort of rebel songs as well. I suppose a lot of it would have been banned.
Yeah, it's funny that like, it's the stuff where it's like the songs where it's like think for yourself, don't be a sheep, or rebel songs, or like we were talking about before with like kind of Robert Johnson, where he was like kind of during that kind of era of jazz and all that, where it was like, oh, they're